What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to another Black Desert video. So today I want to talk about 5 quality of life tips that you can use every single day in Black Desert, whether you're a beginner or someone just returning to the game, learning how to pick up on things to speed up your everyday quality of life. So yeah, I actually have a lot of tips, but for the sake of not making a super long video, let's talk about 5 different things that I use and some people might not know about, because I get questions on this quite often. And so I wrote 5 things down, and in no particular order are these better than the others. I just kind of wrote them down. Number 1, quick hotkeys. Now, you're probably wondering, oh, what's the difference between all of this and like all your, hotkey inputs? Apparently Prolibus doesn't like to put all these in one different location. So it's not this that we're talking about. It's this one, because this one is probably more important than the other one. So quick hotkey settings, you can just search it up. And basically, these are the things that you will probably use on a daily, whether that's when you're grinding, you have your Agris Fever on and off, and, like recharging Alchemy Stone. Putting down your campsite is probably one of the most annoying things you've ever done. Anyone that has one, is like, you cannot install it on an inclined area. Just having to press a button and, not have to click this little tent every single time is kind of nice. And then, taking out different pets if you want to set it. I personally just have, one setting for most things, and then it's not too bad of a change. But you could do that. Activating loot scrolls and everything. And a lot of other important things. So just keep in mind, this setting is different from the hotkey and UI settings. Why? I don't know. It should just be in the same things, but apparently it's 2 different settings. So what you're going to do is just search up quick hotkeys and make sure to set things up on various things, because this one is actually very important. So how we have like 10 things we have to do when we start grinding, and you would think the all-in-one preset is good, but it's really not. But yeah, this is one thing that'll probably help you out. All right, number 2 is how to find items quickly. So have you ever been at the point where you're like, okay, so I want to search for this item in my storage, but you have no idea where it is, right? So let's take, I don't know, Trace of Nature, for example. What you would do is actually hit Control F, and it pops up Find My Item. And then let's say you're looking for Trace of Nature. It tells you where all of this is in all of your storages. And that works for literally every item. So let's say you're looking for, I don't know, a Sovereign. They'll show you where these, and then your tags. So literally any item in the game that you own, Control F. Kind of like everything else, you could do this outside of game too. And like, let's say you're on any website looking for keywords, you can do that. So yeah, believe it or not, a lot of people don't actually know that in this game. They added it, I think, a year or 2 ago, but you would think that it should have been here 10 years ago on day 1. So yeah, just Control F, and if you're looking for a specific item, that's how you do it. Number 3, this is how you go to different spots on the map really quickly. So you see how we are currently in Adania, and then you have like 1, 2, 3, and you could just search up like various things really quickly. So what I see a lot of people doing is, let's say you want to go from, Adania all the way to Velia. I see a lot of people doing this. I don't think there's a right or wrong thing, but just to speed up time, here's how you do it. So this is what I see a lot of people do. They just drag their mouse and go over here. That takes time. It's not bad. What you could do is also do this. Click over here, and then it'll just take you to the city. But one thing that's actually faster than doing either of those is setting an alt plus number. So for example, let's say you have this, you are over here, right? It'll take like a snapshot of where your camera is looking, and it'll mark it over here. So let's take this, for example. Let's set it on any number, right? So you alt plus number, and it'll say save to the current location. So whatever this screen is, let's say you move it around and then go somewhere else, right? And then we hit that number that we saved, it goes exactly back to there. So it's really good for you just, marking different things. For example, one thing I use every day is, how in your Royal Workshop, you have to reset the thing one time. You get that one free reset every day. That's kind of what I do, and then do that. So that's one of those things. But if you want to swap between regions, and like if you have something going on in different spots and you want to check it out, just keep in mind you could do that and set alt plus number or the equivalent on console. I don't know what that would be, but you can do that. So yeah, if you see people scrolling, just know there's a faster way to do it. Instead of just going like this and moving your camera over there, this is even faster, just clicking the city that you're going to, or setting a number hotkey wherever you're going, and then it'll just take you to wherever you're trying to look for in particular. Number 4, Party Finder. I know Black Desert is a game that you play mostly solo in this game, but for all the people who are, not in a guild, or, you're mostly just doing things solo, but every now and then you want to do stuff in a group, there is a Find Party and Platoon Finder, which they actually updated a couple weeks ago. Well, I think it was a couple weeks ago or a couple months ago. Either way, it's updated now compared to before. And basically, it used to only have a few options. Nowadays, you can sort it by level, AP, and DP. Before, it was just kind of like recommended, and now it's actually you have to be on that character. So it's like, there's a lot more options. Kind of like the party finder or group finder in other MMOs. So let's say, a group has like, here, this is the requirements, and then you basically have to be on a character that has that stats required to join it. So yeah, it's actually very nice for people who are looking for Ataraxian dungeons, weekly shrine bosses, and just grind parties and everything. Let's say you don't have a guild, or you don't have a bunch of friends to play with. I would recommend doing that. Every now and then I like to go like low-key undercover and just join random shrine groups and just see what happens every now and then. And I was thinking about doing a series of that one day, just going, it's like, that one TV show is like Undercover or something, and then it's like the undercover boss. Kind of want to do that, but for like shrines, and then just see what pugging feels like these days, and seeing what people do. I think that would be kind of cool. So yeah, just make sure to look at that one every now and then. And if you wanted to ever find a group but you never knew how to, Find Party and Platoon Finder. It's especially good for like things in the ocean like Vel, or group spots that aren't normally available all the time. So yeah, it's a thing, but most people don't actually know it existed. And the last thing I wanted to talk about is the UI and quick slots. So by default, how I have a lot of keys down here. I think by default there's only like 10 buttons. And you're probably wondering, oh, how do you hotkey all your gear and everything? So one thing you could do is go down to your settings and in general, and there's this thing, I think it's off by default, the separatable quick slots. And if the simplify UI is on, maybe turn that one off and then turn separatable on, and it'll allow you to edit your UI and all this stuff. So let's talk about what that means. You're looking at this and probably like, what does CD and QS mean? CD is cooldown, so like your skills that you could put on cooldown and show you, and then QS is quick slot. So by default, you should only have 10 of them, and then you would have to reorganize everything. And you could actually move them around and like organize your rotation. So for example, like I set mine up to the point where skills that, don't always have a key combo, and you would actually have to manually press it, those are there. But also, like, for learning other classes, I think this is very good. What people do is under the skill settings, you could set up quick slot settings over here. So basically, here's how it works: set up quick slots, and then you set them up over here. But also, where is it? Skill cooldown slot. This will allow you to like put things on your cooldown. And so like if you ever watched a guide video or anything, you could set it up down here and be like, okay, so this is what I push first: pre-buff, main damage skills, and then like fillers. So it's a good idea to do that. And it's something that especially new players will like to have as well. So yeah, this is how I set mine up. And then even if you're not doing that for skill rotation, but you want to set up different things like your treasure items to see if it's on cooldown, or your different gear between life skill gear or PvE, PvP, and everything, you could set those up on different bars as well as your quick slots for skills. So yeah, it's the more you can see and the more like things you have on hotbar, it'll save you time. So what I see a lot of people doing is, you know how, okay, so let me show you. If I wanted to swap between life skill gear, which I have on right now, but back into my main PvE gear, you'd see I have this hotbar on one of my keys. And if you want to know how you can change it, you hit this little like settings wheel over here, and it'll say like reset the thing, and then it just pops up whatever is white is an unused number. So then just set it on whatever you have. But anyway, yeah, so put things in their bag and then put it on a hotbar, and you can see how I just swapped to like accessories for PvE versus life skill in like 1 second. So yeah, it's actually really nice and handy. All you need is one of these Morco's bags, and you could swap put your life skill, like pre-owned accessories and everything. And then, yeah, so if you want to set it up with costumes as well, this is something that you could actually buy with loyalties. And under loyalties, I believe it is like the Patrigio bag. So for all the costumes you have, especially for all the collectors out there, let's say, but some are functional. So let's say you want to have cooking on, right? So instead of your main, like, normal costumes you have, but you want a cooking one on, put that in a Merv's or Patrigio bag, and then put that on a hotbar, and then you can have that for costumes as well. It's actually kind of nice. It saves you a lot of time. Instead of what other people do manually is they would click this one, they click this, and then change. So it's 1 button versus like 4. Just saves time, like, and if you just get into a habit of doing it, it saves you, you know, a couple seconds here and there. But it's really nice. So yeah, those are the 5 tips I wanted to share with you, as these are especially nice for beginner players who don't know what they're doing. And yeah, I actually have a lot of other things I want to talk about too. So if you enjoyed this video, drop it a like, and then maybe we'll do a part 2 in the future. And with that said, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hopefully you guys have a fantastic day. And if you're new to the channel, also hit that subscribe button. We're closing in on 80,000 subscribers. That's a big number. I never thought I'd get that far. But yeah, we got a bunch of videos coming out in the near future. Always talking about the latest events in game and, you know, stuff that are current. So that's all from me today. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.